Michael, last week, yet another indication of how Premier Stephen McNeil is loath to accept the advice even of folks who are experts in their field, and this latest one is the Chief Electoral Officer.
Right. Richard Temporale released a report saying that for his agency, Elections Nova Scotia, to be ready for the next provincial election, they need a budget increase. And when they made that request, government turned it down. And as a result, Elections Nova Scotia has delayed by 1 year its expected readiness date for when they can have the next provincial election. And the reason we don't know when an election will be called is Nova Scotia is the last province not to have fixed election dates.
I don't believe they need 18 months. We have a difference of opinion when it comes to that. We will ensure that they are funded properly when it comes to delivering not only by-elections but a general election.
The Premier, presented with this information, simply disagreed, and as has become custom, there wasn't a lot of justification for why he disagreed.
And why are we talking about a possible election 2.5 years into the mandate? Well, over the past number of majority governments, they've gone to the polls in their third year, which is where we're heading, and his goal was to be ready in case there's a snap election next spring or summer.
And so this is the latest example of an official who is independent of government, giving government advice or raising concerns about government actions, only to have them dismissed out of hand without any justification. We saw it when the Director of Public Prosecution Services was down here during Bill 203 debate. He voiced concern that that legislation would affect recruitment and retention of crowns. The Premier simply disagreed without giving any explanation for why he disagreed.
And we've seen the same attitude from Premier Stephen McNeil when it comes to the Access and Information Commissioner. Catherine Tully, a number of times during her mandate, talked about the need to be beholden to the House rather than the Justice Department. That didn't happen. And she voiced a number of concerns that the Premier, again, dismissed pretty much out of hand.
And let's be clear for a second. He's the Premier, and so it's within his right to disagree with these people. But I'm also reminded of my high school physics teacher who used to say to us, show your work. If the Premier is going to disagree with these people, the least he can do for the public is explain why he disagrees and why he thinks he's right and they're wrong.
Especially when we're talking about agencies or offices that are beholden to the House and through the House to Nova Scotians, to you. Is it good enough to simply say, I disagree? Probably not.